Hey y'all, it's me, Amy D. McKnight, and in this video, I'm going to be taking you step by step and showing you how I made this mug rug and how you can too. Now, I want to let you know that you do not need to have the Common Thread Loom. I am showing for those of you who do have the Common Thread Loom that this is another way that you can use it, but if you have a potholder loom, or even if you have a tapestry loom, or whatever, just like some nails, some nails in a board, or whatever, you can make this. It's really simple. It's really straightforward. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to be, talking you step by step through the process. I did speed this up quite a bit because this actually takes longer than some of the other things. Go figure. But all right, so you're going to start out by making a slip knot, and I just went over about 3 pegs over, and then I just kind of strung the yarn. I'm using a wool, just 100% wool. It's just what I have on hand. Didn't go anyplace special. It's just what's in my stash. And I'm just going back and forth, and I'm going to stop about the same distance from the edge. I'm making a mug rug, so I don't want it super wide, and I'm not using the side pegs. I'm only using the top and bottom pegs, just like you would do a normal tapestry weaving. All right, so we're going to put the dowel in, and I am just picking up every other group of 2. And the reason why I'm doing this is just it makes it easier to weave. I'm going to be weaving the stitches that are going left to right in the shed, or in the space that's made by the dowel. And I'm going to be weaving the stitches that go right to left, going over, under, over, under. That's because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, then do the opposite thing. But I'm right-handed, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So I'm going over, under to weave the stitches that are going right to left, and I'm going through the shed, through the space that's made by that dowel, to weave the stitches that go left to right. And yeah, now you'll see me, I'm making my angle more of like the weaver's angle that you'd use if you're using a rigid heddle loom, because, well, I am primarily a rigid heddle weaver who enjoys all forms of weaving and appreciates all forms of weaving. But yeah, so I think that technically, y'all tapestry weavers, feel free to correct me or tell me in the comments, but I think that technically that you, when you're doing like tapestry weaving, you're supposed to like bubble or make rainbows or mountains or something like that. But the bottom line is you don't want to just pull it straight across, because if you do, then your edges are going to come in, and that's not what we want. We do want even edges and, relative straightness. Although, I'm saying this and I'm thinking maybe I want to make a wonky pot holder mat, that would be kind of cool. Like totally a wabi-sabi, like this as whatever, kind of go for it pot holder mat. So I've got so many things on my list of things to show you. I'm not sure if I'll make my wonky pot holder mat, but maybe one of you will make a wonky mug rug, not pot holder mat. What am I saying? I'm going to leave this in here. Anyway, how are you doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you're working on. Yeah, what are you doing to keep yourself busy during these times? So what I'm doing is I'm using 2 strands of the light green and 1 strand of the dark green. This is not pre-measured. This is actually some type of embroidery. I think it's called crewel, C-R-E-W-L, crewel, kind of pronounced like cruel, like Cruella de Vil, but it's something that I don't know exactly what it is. But someone gave me all this wool, and she told me that she used to do crewel and she didn't do it anymore. And I didn't amazingly go and research to figure out what exactly crewel was, so I probably should go do that, and then I can tell you about that at some other time if it has anything that I can tell you about weaving. But that's where I got all this yarn from. So some of it is already pre-cut, and other of it that you have to cut yourself, but I decided I'd use some pre-cut pieces because this seemed like a great project for that. I am just gonna, I think in a little bit, I'm just gonna like either jump ahead or speed this up super quickly. Um, but yeah, you're just pretty much going back and forth. The thing about this type of weaving, as with most tapestry weavings, is that it is what's called a weft faced weave. That is the weft, or the colors that are going back and forth, those are the predominant. You're not really even seeing the threads that are running up and down, which is the warp. Yeah, I sped up or jumped ahead or something. And so it's pretty cool. Like you can do this, and you're covering up the warp. So that's how you know when you have it perfectly, if you can't see the warp. I'm joking. You know, perfect is what you decide that it is. We're not going to obsess if you see a little bit of the warp in there. Did you catch that? I went the wrong way, but that's okay because it's going to be a mug rug. And the purpose of a mug rug is to keep stuff off your furniture. And as long as it does that, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know? If there was ever a time to give ourselves grace, now is that time. So I'm going to keep going. And at some point, as I was doing this, I thought, you know, I don't really like that medium colored green. I didn't like end up using it like I thought I was going to. So at some point, I'm going to take that medium colored green out, and I'm going to replace it with the pattern that I'm working on, like the light green and then the dark green, and do that just to finish it up. Y'all tell me in the comments, when you're working on a project, do you usually like just keep going for it if you have made something, and like you keep going with the idea even if you change your mind? Or are you more apt just to change midway and just say, you know, I'm just going to do my own thing. I don't care if it isn't exactly perfect. Y'all know me. I'm going to just take it loose and well, not take it loose, but I'm going to just, you know, go with whatever. But sometimes, as in this time, I just couldn't abide that medium green, so I actually took it out. So yeah, some days I'll just leave it, but other days it messes with me. And whenever I did this video, it was messing with me, so I had to take it out and start again. And I don't know if you caught it, I just moved my shed stick and put it back, and I kind of followed over under just to of what I already had, so that I could put my stick back on the other end so I could use it, so that it saves me having to go over under. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but the little tool that I'm using to tamp down the rows is just a fork. It's a clear fork. It's all I had. So that's what I'm using. I guess it's not the greatest for video purposes, but I think you can see it a little bit, right? Yeah, you can see it a little bit. So anyway, after I'd gotten it up, you know, a ways, and you know, I pretty much finished both sides, and both sides were even. Now it's time to finish the edge so that when I take it off the loom, it doesn't come loose. Now I'm going to be honest with you. I was totally making this up as I was going, because I was just like, how do I want to keep this on here? I like I said, I'm not a tapestry weaver, so I'm not sure exactly how you're supposed to do this, but I was just going under a few, and then I was kind of like doing a back stitch and catching a bundle of two as I went under a bundle. So I was just kind of catching every few, actually at a right interval. I was just going under and like doing a back stitch to catch a loop. I tried to make this a little bit bigger so you could see what I was doing a little bit better, but I was just catching two and then going over a ways so I could catch the next group of two, then going over a ways so I could, and then going backwards and catching the next group. And then I was using my fork to just kind of, you know, keep everybody in place so that it was kind of sort of neat on the edge. And then you'll see that after I get to the end, I'm not totally confident that that's going to hold. So you're going to see what I'm about to do. So I decide, you know, when in doubt, let's whip stitch this thing. So I decide just to go ahead and just like do a whip stitch After I secure that one, I'm going to go and I'm just going to catch a couple of rows and just go on top of where I come out. I messed up, and there we go. I'm going to go over a little ways and then just whip stitch. And so I'm just going around the edge. Because ultimately, no matter what you're making, big or small, you want to make sure that when you take it off the loom, it's not going to come apart. I kind of enjoy the diagonal weaving and the pin loom weaving and the potholder style methods of weaving, because when you're done, like when you finish the last stitch, if it's pin loom weaving or diagonal weaving, once you've done that last row, you're done. You just need to take it off the loom. With potholder loom weaving, you know, you have a standard amount of, you know, rows that you're going to go, and then you just finish up the loops, and then you're done. But I think the reason why I've never been much for tapestry weaving, no offense to those who do, but I always felt like there wasn't always that perfect stopping point, and I like to be able to know exactly the goal that I'm going for. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, the weft facedness of it, that sometimes it's not like, yeah, it maybe doesn't make any sense. I don't know, but it was fun showing you how to do this. And then my little girl, she saw me doing it, and so she wanted to make one. I probably should put that in my story so you can see what that looked like. I didn't get a chance to take a picture of it for this video, but she made one and she did her own thing. She did that totally the you know, just going for it type mug rug that is what I was talking about earlier. So maybe subconsciously I was thinking about what she made. Yep, probably. But she did one and it was pretty cool. She threw caution to the wind as only a 6-year-old can, and it was pretty cool. So I'm running out of thread here. I probably should have just stopped, but I'm like, no, thread is precious right now. Shoot, I'm not going near a store anytime soon, unfortunately. So more now than ever, I'm trying to use what I have and be judicious in my use of what I have. So yeah, I'll use it down to the last little bit. And so now I'm going to add on a little bit of thread. I'm going to secure it and I'm going to keep going across. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Once I finish this up, I'm going to take it off the loom, and then I could have cut the loops so that they would be like more not looped, and I probably will. Maybe I'll take a picture of it at some other time. But yeah, I didn't. I just kind of still wasn't sold. I wasn't sold on it wouldn't come unraveled, which is kind of crazy because of course it's not going to come unraveled. But anywho, I left the loops there. So there it is. So now I'm just going to go back and I'm going to trim all of my, well, first I'm going to take it off the loom. I'm using my little tool to take it off the loom. But in reality, I probably could have just pulled it off. But this kind of assured that I wouldn't like snag anything and make it go out of shape. But totally not completely necessary. But yeah, I'm going to trim everything off and then put it all to the side. You know, all those scraps, they can be used, right? Totally can be used. It's fluff. That's what I like putting my weaving. And there it is. It is all done. Well, y'all, that is it for this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was inspiring. Y'all stay safe, stay well. Talk to you soon. Bye.